Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I want to talk about Dungeons and Dragons, and I want to talk about Critical Role, and I want to talk about Dungeons and Dragons partner in creating miniatures, WizKids, who also makes um, miniatures with Critical Role, right? And today we're going to talk about a canceled Critical Role miniature set, the Critical Role Shademother miniature boxed set. So this was announced, they took orders for it, and then WizKids canceled it. Okay, and they sent everybody to say, hey, here's your money back, or here's your, or if they didn't take it, they're like, we got your order, but we're not going to fulfill this because, and that's a great question. So let's talk about why um, Dungeons and Dragons partner, creating partner, WizKids is not going to make Critical Roles miniatures, right? Specifically these specific sets were gotten rid of. So let's dig into this. So first of all, I've already done one. There were two sets that were, and actually, I'm not positive that that Critical Role's entire line was canceled, but there were two major sets coming out. I've already done a video on the first set. Today, I want to talk about the Critical Role Shademother miniature box set that was canceled and talk about why it was canceled. So I've already given reasons why I thought the other one was canceled. Today I'm going to give reasons why I thought this one was canceled. So first of all, I think it's extremely important to understand this. So one, people roll up on this channel. Actually, I'll tell you right now. I'm not the two sites in the two sites in the last month have heard Dungeon Craft and another major site, like thousands of views on the video. Two major D&D commentators came out and said Dungeons and Dragons is not a game. Increasingly, I'm not the only one saying Dungeons and Dragons isn't a game. Increasingly, people are, and the reason why is, excuse me, increasingly, the things that happen on Dungeons and Dragons don't happen on the intellectual property complexity, the crises that happen. This stuff doesn't even happen on AAA video games, right? With billions of dollars on the line. It's incredible, right? Dungeons and Dragons does not perform like a game. It performs like a revolution, right? And increasingly, you have to be a ridiculous fool to really think that Dungeons and Dragons is a game, right? It says it right on the cover, right? But to me, it would be like if you put brick on a candy bar. It's clearly not what it is called. It doesn't really function like that, right? And for one thing, like, think about WizKids, right? So they make Nulzer's Marvelous Miniatures, literally hundreds of different miniatures. That's not a joke. I'm talking hundreds, right, of miniatures made for Dungeons and Dragons. They are available in every FLGS in America. Probably one of the most successful miniature lines ever, right? I actually own one. Actually, I own a pair. My Turtle Wizard. To this day, one of my most cherished objects is Barrel the Turtle Wizard. This pair of miniatures, and they're really fantastic. They're really incredible, and they come from the Nulzer's line, and they've made hundreds, right? And so WizKids is there, and they're like, "Oh, hey, Matthew Mercer, how you doing, buddy?" Shake the hand, right? And then they're like, "Hey, Chris Perkins, how's everything doing?" Shake the hand, and then it came to a point where they were like, "Oh, wait a second, we got to choose one or the other, right?" Because the reality is, you can't serve two masters, right? And Matthew Mercer's like, "Oh, hey, everybody, look at Daggerheart. It's going to replace Dungeons and Dragons. It's going to be the best thing ever. Here we go. Dungeons and Dragons is going to fall like a top as soon as we get my Daggerheart out." And you're like, "Nah, brah. Nah. You can stop singing that noise. You ain't going nowhere with Daggerheart, right?" And WizKids is like, it's really nice how, being able to print things with a actual rock star, like Matthew Mercer is a real celebrity. But the reality is, you got to know what side your bread is buttered on, right? And they're saying, hey, if we got to bet on if we can make money making Daggerheart miniatures, or if we can make money making Dungeons and Dragons miniatures, well, Dungeons and Dragons has season 5 of Stranger Things next year, and the only question after that blows the roof off, right, is whether they're going to do 1 or 2 spin-offs for the show, right? Like, and continue to carry the Dungeons and Dragons banner further, right? So it's truly astounding. And so I really feel like, it was a difficult time in America when they made these decisions. It's a much less difficult time in America right now. The American economic engine is about to go burr. Americans bought 30 million tickets to the movies last weekend. That has literally never happened. It was an economic celebration of Americans saying, we think things are going to be just fine, right? And so really, politics does massively impact Dungeons and Dragons. But at the time, WizKids was like, we need to print the stuff that we know is going to sell. And Critical Role stuff, there's just no more guarantee that it's going to sell. Now, why is that? Well, first of all, Critical Role is crushing it right now. They're doing better than any other independent actual play company in the world. Dimension 20 is a joke compared to them. And the stuff that's behind Dimension 20 isn't even worth bothering. Adventure Zone, right? And then that's it. There's nothing left, right? And tell me if I'm wrong, is Adventure Zone just part of Dimension 20? I don't know, right? But the actual place, it's very hard selling actual place. But Matthew Mercer was able to do it for a while. And right now, Jeff Bezos is taking his calls, right? And they're doing Mighty Nine and they're doing Vox Machina. But right now, Bell's Hells, the current one sucks. And everybody's like, this thing is boring, slow, the pace is ridiculous. And I think it is, right? And the reason why the Critical Role Shademother miniature box set got canceled by WizKids, the biggest reason by far is Matthew Mercer is not taking risks. First of all, these 4-hour games are ridiculous. Having campaigns that run 100 sessions is ridiculous. This 1980s BS has got to end. This is not how you tell a story today. Reduce it to movie length, right? 90 to 120 minutes per session, right? And then match it to a season, an American season. If you match it to a British season, that's 6 sessions, right? You match it to an American 1980s season, that's 24 episodes, right? So Critical Role, 24 episodes for a season, and 2 hours per episode. And Matthew Mercer, his pace, he can't even remotely tell a story like that. And one of the reasons why is he gets absolutely nothing from his players. They goof around, they make redundant storylines, they go on side quests that don't matter, right? And they're not helping him to tell a narrative story in a tight space, right? And people are like, I'm not watching 400 hours of content to get a story anymore. And this is why the Critical Role Shademother miniature box set was canceled by WizKids. And so Matthew Mercer has to make some real changes to narrative, right? Yes, Vox Machina and Mighty Nine were cool. Bell's Hells has sucked, right? Things have got to change. You can't just keep doing the same junk and think it's going to work. That, in my humble opinion, is why the Critical Role Shademother miniature box set was canceled, in my humble opinion. Every single word you just heard was my humble opinion. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion, when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider subscribing and have a fetch millennium.